there, this is Tiff and welcome to the Tiffany Micah podcast. What we do here is we solve your problems so that you're out there working on achieving your big dreams and big goals. So when you listen to these episodes, if you can do me a favor, take a screenshot of the episode that you're actually listening to, share it on social media and share it with your friends with hashtag #PotentialWithTiff, so that I can give you a shout out and really thank you for listening, because I'd really appreciate it. Hey there, this is Tiff from Tiffany Micah podcast and welcome to today's episode. Well, guess what? We're working on another Bloodline Code again today, and I hope that you've actually been listening to the Bloodline Codes that I've been sharing with you in the last few episodes, because these are for you. I've put these Bloodline codes together for you so that you're out there doing what you need to do. So if you're not listening to these, then I want you to make sure that you are listening to these, because you're going to have to use these Bloodline codes as part of what will build you into the athlete who you want to become. So today we're actually going to be talking about unwavering discipline. And I've actually got that set up as number 2 in the Bloodline Code. So I have the Bloodline Codes actually set up in order, and this is number 2 on the list. Why number 2? Well, as you may have heard the previous episode, actually, I talked about complete conviction, and you have to have that complete conviction in you. But once you have set up that complete conviction, that faith, that belief, and that trust that you're developing deep inside of you, once you have that in place, because that's number 1 really, what you then need to start having in place is that unwavering discipline. So the thing is it's all well and good to have the dream that you want to have, but you know what? You got to do the work. You can dream about it all you want, but you have to do the work to get there. So what does unwavering discipline mean? Well, actually what that means is you love being disciplined, because you know that showing up and doing the work is gold, like pure gold. You plan for structure. You know that if you are structured, you get the results. And you know that when you show up, even when you don't feel like it, you know that this makes you stronger when confronted with obstacles. So what are the main points here, really, with unwavering discipline? Well, these are the key points. You love being disciplined. You know by showing up and doing the work, you are giving yourself the opportunity to accomplish your dream. You love structure, right? You thrive under structure. You create the plans for structure. And you do this because you know it will give you the results. You show up even when you don't feel like it. And you know that when you show up, it will make you stronger even when you're confronted with the obstacles. So what are we going to focus on here for you today is a few things that I've set up for you. Now, there's quite a few points here, so you will need your notebook ready for this one. There's 5 key areas that we're actually going to be working on in creating this unwavering discipline. And what actually happens is there's lots of pieces to this as well, okay? So number 1 is that we have to create plans for structure, right? So that's the main objective, is what we've got to do. This is how we're going to create this unwavering discipline. And I don't mean that you have to be so structured and rigid that you know, oh no, I can't do that because I've set this up in place. That thing that you've set up in place may not be working for you. So then you still want to have that flexibility that you need to change that if it's not working. Okay, so I just want you to make sure about that. So 1 is we create the plans for structure. And 2 is we show up and do the work. All right, so that's really simple, right? 2 simple steps. One, create the plans for structure, and two, showing up and doing the work. But you're probably thinking, all right, Tiff, great, thanks. That's it. Well, actually, no, that's not it, because there's a lot more to that. We have to go, okay, well, what is it that we need to do to create the plans for structure? So this is what I'm going to share with you now, all the pieces in place, okay? So what we need to be doing here is we need to be setting goals. So we need to be setting goals so that we know what we're working towards. Because what actually happens is when we set goals and we know what we're working towards, then we can create a plan. But if you're just out there having this big vision of what you want to create and there's no plans set in place, there's no structure around those plans to make those things happen, you find that you end up just getting into a rut of doing the same thing over and over and over again, but nothing seems to be changing. You'll get to a certain point and then you'll hit a wall, and then you won't be able to break through that. I can guarantee that happens because I went through that many times. So creating plans for structure, we're showing up and doing the work, and we're setting those goals, okay? So number one, what we want to be doing here is we want to be setting what we call our GPS. So that's GPS is our goal, purpose, and strategy, okay? So that's really the first piece of that. So goal is we want to identify the goal. Purpose is what do you want? Why do you want the goal? And strategy is, well, what strategies do you need to have in place to make that happen? Okay, so this is part one, is just that GPS is being aware of identifying the goal, the purpose of why do you want the goal, and the strategy, what strategies do you need to have in place to make that happen? Okay, so that's the first part. So let's look at our ultimate goal, okay, in this GPS, goal, purpose, strategy. So we're still on number one. So what I want you to do is I want you to identify what your ultimate goal is. Now, it might be, I'm going to give you an example, it might be playing soccer for your national team, okay? That might be your ultimate goal. It might be something further than that. It might be going to the Olympics and playing for your country in your sport, whatever it is, okay? So one is your ultimate goal. Two is your purpose. So what is the purpose of why you want to become the athlete that you want to become, the player, for the national team or something like that? Well, is it because you want to be a professional athlete? Is it because you want the money, you want the fame, you want to support your family, you want the sponsorship, you want the freedom to be able to do and play the sport that you love, whatever it is? Write down what that purpose is. Three, then what we want to do is we want to identify the strategies that we need to do. We need to make that goal happen. Okay, so what skills do we need? So we need to work out a strategy around the skills. Nutrition, very important. If you want to perform the way that you want to perform, you need to be fueling your body with the right food. Stamina, what type of stamina do you need to have in place? Speed, strength, flexibility, balance. What else? Mental training, so focus, knowing how to perform under pressure, how to control your emotions in key moments, right? Those are all the things that we need to be looking at the strategy, what we need to have in place for that big goal, okay? The coach, the team, whatever it is, who's your ultimate coach, the ultimate team that you want to be with? Be very, very clear. And then the fourth part of this piece is when. When do you want that to happen? Because we want to set a goal of have an end date for that. Now, we don't know when that's going to happen. You might set that goal for a year from now, and then that year comes and goes, and you're like, oh, well, I'm not there yet. It may take longer than what you have initially planned. But if we have that plan set in place, you have a date of when you would like to achieve that, and then you have all these strategies, your purpose and your goal laid out, then you're like, right, okay, this is what I need to do, okay? Now, the next part of that, because we're still in number one, right? Goal, purpose, strategy. So the first part was to establish what your ultimate goal is. Now, what we want to do is we want to break it down, okay? So we actually want to plan into our yearly goal from that. So just say that ultimate goal might be 2 or 3 years away. what do we want to do by the end of this year, or our yearly goal? Okay, you might be playing in Division 5 in your soccer, so you might want to be in Division 2 by the end of the year. Okay, set that goal. What's the purpose, right? What's the purpose of doing that? Well, that will help you improve and get you closer to your ultimate goal, won't it? What's the strategy? Well, what skills do you need to have in place in order for you to get to Division 2? Right, so that's our yearly goal. The next part of that, we have to set the quarterly goal. We're actually getting close to the end of June now. So we've got to be starting to think about the next 6 months anyway. What do we want to be true by the end of September? Okay, September 30. What needs to be true? Well, maybe you need your quarter goal is to train the skills to be a Division 2 player now, even if you're not a Division 2 player yet. But train the skills to be the Division 2 player that you want to be now. Purpose? Well, what's the purpose? By doing this will give you the opportunity to be picked for a Division 2 team. What's your strategy? Well, the strategy is, what skills do you need to have in place? There might be specific skills that you'll need right now, so that they may need more attention. So you need to identify what these are. Okay, what we're doing is we're breaking it down, aren't we? We're breaking it down, creating that structure so we have that unwavering discipline. All right, that's just one piece. So that'll be outlined for you just like in brief points wherever you hear this episode, so it's easy for you to then go to it. But this is what we need to do, okay? Step 2. Now we've got to plan out the quarter. We know what we want. We know what our quarterly goal is. Well, then now we've got to plan out the actual quarter. So what I want you to be looking at is I want you to break down into 3 months, right? So we want month 1, month 2, month 3. So month 1 will be July, month 2 will be August, month 3 will be September. So you need to identify what skills that you must be working on in July, August, and September. Now, there could be different skills in July compared to August and September. But you need to identify what these are. So you need to put those in place, okay? But the main things is we always need to make sure that we're always working on improving our soccer skills. We're always making sure we're looking after our nutritional side. We're flexible, balanced, we have speed, we have strength, we have stamina. And we're always working on the mental side as well. We've got to have all of these things working in place, okay? Step 3. Plan your first month. So see how we're breaking it down. We've gone from our ultimate goal, now we've gone to our yearly goal, now we've gone to a quarterly goal. We've talked about planning your quarter, so what you need, what skills you need in each month. And now what we need to do is we need to plan your first month. So what we want to do now is in step 3 is plan out your first month. So what you want to do here is write out what you must work on in month 1. Okay, so you've identified what the skills are to work in month 1 with the previous question on planning your quarter. Now what you need to do is write out everything that you've got in plan for month 1, and then we've got to break it down now into weeks. So we're breaking it down step by step. So what I want you to do here is I want you to write down what you must be working on in weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4 of that first month. We're working on simplifying and making this easy for you, okay? It's step by step. It's like when you're playing your sport, one shot at a time, okay? One kick at a time, one dribble at a time, one pass at a time. That's how we need to operate when we're planning as well. Step 4, now what we've got to do is we've got to plan our week, okay? So you've got to plan out your week. So what I want you to do here is I want you to write down what you must be working on each day from Monday to Sunday. So things that you could be looking at is identifying when you are going to be working on what you need to be working on. Are you working on them in the morning or in the afternoon or in the evening? And then what you need to do is you need to put them into a daily schedule, the time that you will do them. So like create a time block for them, the amount of time that you're going to allow to work on these specific skills of food preparation, skills in your sport, the mental side of things, the sprint work, the strength work, and so on. Plan it out exactly when you're going to actually do that, so you have a schedule in place. Now, once you've done that, because this is quite a bit to take in. So we've done step 1 was planning out our ultimate goal. So we needed our GPS around that, our goal, purpose, and strategy. Step 2 was then what we wanted to be then doing was planning our quarter. Okay, so the skills in month 1, 2, and 3. Step 3, then we wanted to be planning our month, our very first month. So from weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then step 4, we wanted to be planning out the week. So we wanted to identify exactly what we needed to do from Monday to Sunday. And here's our step 5. Step 5 is we want to evaluate the week. And you do this at the end of each of your training weeks. So there's 4 parts in here that you want to be doing when you're evaluating your week. And very simple questions, okay? We've got to keep it really simple for you. So 1 is identify what worked. So when you look back at your week, what worked really well for you? What were you able to execute really well? The schedule, the structure, the skills, the training, the food preparation, whatever it is that you needed to do. Part 2, identify what didn't work. So then you look at, what pieces worked, what didn't work, what could you do better, and so on. And that's number 3, is identify what needs to be changed for the following week. So we've got 1 is identify what worked, 2, identify what didn't work, and 3, identify what changes need to be made for the following week. And part 4 of that is craft your new plan for the following week. So this is how we create that unwavering discipline, isn't it? We've created structure for you. I'll tell you, when you do it and you operate in this manner, this is where the magic is. There's lots of magic that happens when we're actually quite structured and we've got our setup in place. We've got everything that we need to have in place so that we're actually having that unwavering discipline. Okay, so you need to make sure that you're doing this as part of what you do. Okay, so remember, it's all about you having unwavering discipline, and this is part of your Bloodline Code. So I hope you really enjoyed today's episode. I'd love it if you could share with me what you like best about what you heard today, and also if you'd love to share how you've planned it out, I'd love to see that and get some feedback from you, and I can give you some feedback if you would like it. So just make sure you send me an email. I wish you the very best working on this, because I would love to see the plan. So if you've got friends that you know that would benefit from these episodes, I'd really appreciate if you could share it with your friends, because we want to build the Reach Your Potential with Tiff community as big as we possibly can. And I want you to dream big, believe in you, and go after your dreams. Have an absolutely awesome day. Take care. Talk soon. Bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening today. If you have any questions about the frustrations that you're actually going through right now, come over and visit my site, tiffany-mika.com, and you will see on the homepage I've set up Ask Tiff. Now what Ask Tiff is this is where you can ask me a question, and I will record an episode for you on how to solve that frustration or those frustrations you're actually going through, so that we can get the problem solved for you, so that you're actually out there achieving your big dreams and goals. So if you want me to mention your name in the episode, happy to do so. If you don't, I can keep it anonymous. It's fine by me. But make sure you go over and go to the Ask Tiff on the homepage of my website. If you've just got 30 seconds to spare, I'd also appreciate if you could leave a 5-star review wherever you hear these episodes. And remember, take a screenshot, add the hashtag potential with Tiff, so that I can give you a shout out for sharing these episodes on social media, I'd really appreciate it. And remember this, always, always, always dream big, believe in you, and go after your dreams.